All right, it's really important that you correct your formative and do a nice job on it, because I set this up just like the summative assessment except the 4-level question. So pay attention. So right here, what this question was asking is find the rate of change between hours 0 and 1. So we go to 0 and we go to 1. So we have to go up and over. Remember, the rate of change is the slope, which is rise over run. So we had to go up 50 and over 1. So it was between 0 and 1, it was 50 miles per hour. Many of you forgot that label. So then we're going to go between hours 1 and 2. So again, we're going to go 1 and 2. So right here, we would have to go between hours 1 and 2. This rate right here is up 50 over 1. And at this point, I am hoping you realize that because it is a straight line and it is proportional, there's that constant rate of change. So the rate is always going to be 50 miles per hour. Even if it was bigger, even if we went between 2 or 3 seconds, it would still reduce to 50 miles per hour. So is this proportional? Yes. And we could have explained it in a couple different ways. The rate is the same. Add to your assignment, to your formative if you don't have this, 50 miles per hour. And we also know it is proportional because it is a straight line, and it's a straight line going through 0, 0. And the equation, remember, is just y equals, and many of you used m and h, or y and x, or d for distance and t for time. I'll just use y and x, but the important thing is that you put the 50 before that independent variable, whatever you label down here. All right, for some of you, your graph might be correct, but it might be a little bit different because you numbered differently. I numbered this axis, the hours, by ones, but I skipped lines. I numbered my y-axis, the miles. I actually went up by 15, so 15, 30, 45, 60, etc., etc., so I could meet all of the requirements because I needed to graph at 2 hours, 60 miles. So I have 2 hours, 60 miles. We know at 0 hours here is at 0 miles. And then at 4 hours, he's at 120. So 4 hours, 120. So there is my graph. Again, yours might look a little different depending on how you numbered the axes. So the unit rate, he went 60 miles in 2 hours and 120 in 4 hours. Both simplify to 30 miles per hour. So how do you know? Both ratios, and here they are, simplified. Please add your to your formative to 30 miles per hour. Again, right now you should be correcting and putting labels on. If you didn't have labels, you should be making your paper perfect because you will be able to use it on the summative assessment. All right, question 3. Most of you did a fantastic job of finding the unit rates for all of these. Remember, if it is 30 to 2 or 60 to 4, 150 to 10, those can all simplify to 15 meters per second. Don't forget the label. On a graph, we can see that unit rate. A couple different ways we can find a point, like this one right here, 40, 20, or 80 over 4, or we can just go to the 1 and go up. Here's 1 and we go over. This graph is going up by 20s every time, 20, 40, 60, 80. So at 1 it was at 20. So we know CAMS is 20 meters per second. And TAMS, we find the unit rate right there as the coefficient of x, so 18 meters per second. So, first place. Remember, if you're traveling at a higher rate, you're going to get to the end of the race sooner. So CAM is actually in first place, TAM is in second place, and SAM is in third place. And your justification is CAM is traveling at a higher rate of speed. SAM is the slowest rate. And I would even put something like 20 is greater than 18 is greater than 15. And the last question had to do with similar triangles and that rate of change. Some of you did a nice job with the proportion part, but you didn't talk about that rate of change. So I didn't give you credit if you didn't talk about the rate of change. The rate of change, remember, is the slope, the rise to the run. So you needed to talk about how the small one went up 10 for every 2, and the large one went up. So here we're at 20, it went from 20 to 40. 20 to 40 is 20 for 4. So we needed to pull that out, and then over here in your justification, you needed to put, and don't just copy what because I am going very fast here. So you needed to put in words that the unit rates, or you could have put the rate of change was the same, or something about the ratio of rise to run was the same for both, 5 to 1.